It's a familiar pattern in many workplaces. A team puts a change in place to solve a problem, only to discover that new and often more complex issues start appearing somewhere else. A fix that seems perfectly logical on the surface can end up causing a chain reaction of unintended consequences. So let's take a common situation. A project is behind schedule. Everyone can see it, and everyone agrees that something needs to be done about the delays. To get things back on track, a new quality approval step is added to the process. The thinking is that an extra review will catch mistakes early on, which should prevent bigger delays down the road. It's a purposeful action aimed squarely at the problem. But the actual result is the opposite of what was intended. The project, which was already running late, starts to fall even further behind. The solution has somehow made the original problem worse. This brings up a really important question. Why do these logical, well-intentioned actions so often create brand new problems? Well, the answer is found in how we tend to look at improvements inside of an organization. To really understand what's going on, it helps to see that there are two fundamentally different types of improvement. You see, an organization isn't just a collection of separate parts doing their own thing. It's an interconnected system. The work that one team finishes becomes the starting point for another. So a change in one area will always have an effect on others. Within this system, one type of change is a local improvement. This is a fix that's designed to make just one single part of a process better, to optimize one team's specific task. The other type is a global improvement. This kind of solution is designed to make the final outcome of the entire system better, from the very beginning to the very end. It has to consider how all the different parts connect and work together. So the main difference here really comes down to focus. A local improvement is all about making a single, isolated number look better. A global improvement, on the other hand, is about improving the overall result of the whole process. They might sound similar, but they can lead to very different actions. And in practice, you'll find that organizations have a very strong pull toward prioritizing one of these over the other. That pull exists because individual teams are usually evaluated based on metrics that they can control directly. Their performance is judged on clear, visible results that are specific to what that team does. This structure naturally encourages teams to focus on problems they can solve within their own walls. After all, the easiest way to show success is by improving your own team's numbers, without having to worry about the side effects on the rest of the organization. And this tends to create a repeatable cycle. First, there's pressure to show some kind of progress. This leads a team to focus on its own specific metrics. They then implement a solution that directly improves those numbers, and sure enough, the local metric gets better. If you look at this situation in isolation, the local fix seems like a total success. The team identified a problem, they took action, and they achieved a measurable improvement in their own area. But this apparent success is often the very point where unintended consequences begin to ripple out across the wider system. Because no team works in a total vacuum, we also have to consider what this change does to the teams that depend on them. Let's use an example. Imagine one team finds a clever way to streamline its internal workflow. This allows them to get their piece of the work done much faster. It's a classic local improvement. But there's a catch. This new, faster process only works if the team before them delivers its information in a completely different format. For that other team, the one upstream, this new requirement is just a disruption. Now they have to add an extra step to their own process just to reformat their work, which interrupts their flow and slows them down. In this case, the first team's improvement didn't actually speed up the whole system. All it did was shift the delay. It created a brand new bottleneck, just in a different place. This phenomenon points to a fundamental rule in complex systems. Even when an action is taken with a clear purpose, the results that follow are not always the ones that were intended. And what this really shows is that making improvements in an organization isn't about finding perfect isolated solutions. It's about managing a series of trade-offs. The core dynamic is that when you optimize one part of a system, it very often creates a new strain on another part. A gain in efficiency for one team might become a new burden or source of friction for another. The system is structured to favor visible, local gains, because those are the easiest things to measure and reward. This creates a constant cycle where solving one problem
simply generates a new set of trade-offs that have to be managed somewhere else.